Hey guys, Alex and Kat here from Food Inbox.
Thanks so much for joining us for today's video where we're making Korean barbecue at home.
Come along on our delicious journey as we get this barbecue going.
So first stop on our Korean barbecue journey today is one of our favourite Korean supermarkets in North Strathfield. We pretty much get everything here whenever we're in the mood for Korean food. They have heaps of different things. Alex is looking at some matcha chocolates right now. They have all the snacks that you could ever want, a lot of different drinks, and Alex's favourite is the milk tea. And we really like coming here because they have a really great selection of Korean barbecue meats. So these are all meats that are already cut up and ready to go for the barbecue. They especially have lots of Wagyu options, which is pretty good. We just had a bit of a look at what they had there today. There was a really great selection. It was difficult for us to decide, but we were doing a big barbecue for a lot of family today. So we decided just to get the pork belly and we'll get the other meat at Costco later in the day. Now, we do also need a few other supplies. So we have a lot of marinades that they have here. We picked up a few different ones that we'll end up marinating our own meat with. We don't speak Chinese or Korean, so it was a bit of a disaster trying to figure out what everything was, but not to worry, we know they're going to taste good anyway, so we just picked up a few and just rolled with it. This supermarket has heaps of different misos available, and this sweet miso really caught my eye, especially because it has less salt than others. So pop that in the basket for later, and then it's off to look at all the different banchan that they have. Heaps of kimchi as well, lots of different sizes. We ended up going for the one down the bottom there. And we picked up a few of these little side dishes as well, just so we can have something to eat with our meat. Now, the one side dish they don't have here is the bean sprouts, so I picked up a bag and I'll make my own at home later. And we also ended up buying one of these little portable barbecues and a little extra grill to go on top because we do have heaps of people coming today. Now, we did look at a few other things while we're here that weren't related to Korean barbecue. Getting Japanese curry here is always a good idea because we make this heaps at home and it's a good price. And the last thing on the list is soju. You can never have Korean barbecue without some liquor, so we picked up a few bottles of that. And that's all we got here today. We're at Komart, by the way, in North Strathfield. This is one of our favourite Asian supermarkets. Okay, so the next stop was Costco, and we came here because we know they have a great selection of meats. They actually have yakiniku or Korean barbecue meat pre-cut, which is awfully convenient. Plus, they just have a ton of other options, which is always fun to look at. One thing they do have here at Costco is the marinated beef bulgogi. This is actually really good and we always get it whenever we're doing Korean barbecue. In the end, we decided to just get a regular New York steak pack and cut it up ourselves and marinate it when we get home. So back at home, we got the chance to really admire this new Korean barbecue that we bought. It was about $55 from Komart, and to be honest, it's a pretty good looking barbecue. There's plenty of space on it, and it actually has these little legs, which means we can stand it up on its own rather than having to put it on the table. Now, for the meat we bought at Costco, I'm just prepping it into thin slices so it cooks nice and quickly on the barbecue. So we've separated the meat into a few different bowls, and that way we can have a few different marinades going. First one we're doing is a good old teriyaki. That's nice and simple, just pop in the sauce. This one here is one of those meat sauces we bought at the Korean supermarket. I'm not sure what flavour it is, but we are adding a little bit of sweet miso to it just to give a bit of an extra flavour. So tap that in and give it a good mix. And that's all seasoned there. The last bowl we had, we're just going to keep it plain, so we'll leave that in the fridge for now. But now onto the soybeans. Now this is one of our favorite banchans. It's so simple to make at home and it's really tasty. We're just giving the soybeans a quick wash and then pop them into a mixing bowl where we'll add a few other ingredients. First up, we're adding a little splash of light soy sauce. Then it's in with a bit of rice wine vinegar, just a quick little splash as well. And then we'll go in with some sesame oil. Now it's really up to you how much you put, but I like a nice generous portion because it gives it great flavor. And then we'll just top it off with a few little sesame seeds. Give it a quick mix, and we forgot to film it, but we did also put in some spring onions and a little bit of salt just to taste. We also have a few bunches of lettuce here because Korean barbecue should always have good lettuce.
Lettuce is the secret to maximizing the amount of meat you can put in that belly.
Now, if you haven't had Korean barbecue at home before, we definitely recommend investing in some metal utensils. You can get chopsticks, tongs, and also scissors at any Korean supermarket. And these are a really good idea because when you're cooking over the hot charcoals, anything plastic will melt. Speaking of hot charcoals, we're getting ours ready now. And these heat beads are just some ones we picked up from Bunnings. They're really great because they last for a long time and they radiate a lot of heat, which is definitely what you need when you're cooking hard and fast in Korean barbecue. Now, because we're hosting a big party tonight, we've decided to do two different barbecues. The one we bought today at Komart and also a smaller circular one. We have put a few lumps of charcoal on top of the heat beads just to give a bit of an extra smoky flavour, and then we're almost ready to go and get started with barbecuing. It's time to bring all the ingredients outside and get ready to pop the meat on the charcoals. We're super excited because we've been prepping for this all day and we're finally ready to barbecue. Everyone really enjoyed the experience of Korean barbecue at home. For some of our family, it was the first time doing this, so we did have a few little mishaps. Our small circular barbecue actually ended up burning a hole in this piece of wood. Thankfully, it didn't start a huge fire, so that was all okay. We did have a few flames here and there from the fats of the meat, but that dissipated quite quickly, so yeah. If you've ever thought about doing Korean barbecue at home, this is your sign to give it a go. It's super easy and heaps of fun. Thanks for joining us for today's video, guys. We'll see you next time.